Hey guys, hope you're having a lovely weekend and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about smartphones in the price range of 40,000 rupees to 60,000 rupees as one segment and smartphones above 60,000 rupees to infinity as the other segment. Now, why didn't I do the same thing I did before for the previous videos by having a 10,000 rupees budget price range is because there aren't a lot of flagship smartphones in this price point, so it felt better to combine these price points and making a better decision. And the price point above 60 is so open because not a lot of people buy flagships from a different brand than they already are in. So basically, if you are in the Samsung family, you will buy the latest Samsung flagship. Same goes for the iPhone family, and there aren't many devices in that price range to compete against the monopoly that Samsung and Apple have. So I'm going to talk more about that. Without further ado, let's get started. So what devices do fall in between this 40 to 60,000 rupees budget, you might ask? Well, not a lot actually. The big brands have one or maximum two flagships in this layout. So let's check out the devices. Starting off with the Asus ROG Phone 3. This is a purely gaming phone and is packed to the brim with specifications, and its cost is 49,999 and 57,999 for the 8GB 128 model and 12GB 256 model. Coming on to a few surprising entries like the Vivo X50 Pro, which I did not expect would be in this price range, at 49,990 for the 8GB 256 variant, and the Redmi Mi10 at 49,999 and 54,999 for the 8128 and the 8256 respectively. Coming on to a typical device that hangs out in this price bracket usually is the LG flagship, the LG G8X at 54,990 on LG's website and 54,190 on Amazon for the 6128. Coming on to the typical devices here are the OnePlus 8 at 44,999 and 49,999 for the 8128 and 12,256, and its sister device the OnePlus 8 Pro at 54,999 and 59,999 for the 8128 and 12,256. Now there is only one iOS device in this price bracket, which is the iPhone XR at 52,500 and 57,800 for the 64GB and the 128GB variants respectively. Now coming on to the above 60,000 rupees price bracket. Now Samsung and Apple mostly have the monopoly here and not let any devices come into this, but Motorola came gunning for it and is having a single device in this range, which is the Moto Edge Plus at 74,999 for the 12,256 model. Coming on to Samsung, we have the Samsung S20 lineup and the Note 20 lineup. Starting off with the S20 lineup, we have the Samsung S20 at 70,499 for the 8128. The Samsung S20 Plus at 77,999 for the 8GB 128, and we have the Samsung S20 Ultra at 97,999 for the 12,128. Coming on to the Note series, we have the Samsung Note 20 at 77,999 for the 8256, and the Samsung Note 20 Ultra, which is breaking 6 digits, which is 1,04,999 for the 8256GB model. Coming on to Apple, we start off with the iPhone 11 at 68,300, 73,600 and 84,100 for the 64, 128 and 256GB variants. But I found lower prices on the Amazon store and I'm going to display the lower prices on the display. Coming on to the iPhone 11 Pro, starting at 1,06,600, 1,21,300 and 1,40,300 for the 64, 128 and 256GB variant. But I found the 512GB variant on Amazon for 1,34,600, and the 256GB variant was also discounted at 1,14,299 on Amazon. Coming on to the iPhone 11 Pro Max, starting off at 1,17,000, 1,31,900 and 1,50,800 for the 64, 128 and 256GB variants, and there was a discount for the 64GB variant on Amazon, and I'll display the price above. And we have two older generation iPhones, that is the iPhone XS at 1,09,400 for the 256GB variant, and I found the 512GB variant for 97,900 on the Amazon store. And finally we have the iPhone XS Max at 1,09,900 and 1,20,000 for the 64 and 256GB variant, and I found the 256GB variant for sale on Amazon for 93,900 and found the 512GB variant on Amazon for 131,899. Now starting off with the 40 to 60,000 rupees budget, we have the ROG Phone 3, the X50 Pro, the Mi10, the OnePlus 8 and the OnePlus 8 Pro, with the outlier being the 10R. So let's have a deeper dive into all of these devices and see where we can cut out a bit of the fat. Now right off the bat, I am going to remove the Vivo X50 Pro from this lineup because it has a 765G processor, which really does not have any place at this price point, comparing it to all the other devices which have the flagship specification of the processor, which is the 865. So the Vivo X50 Pro is out. Now the other device I'm going to remove from this lineup is the Mi10, though it does not have any outstanding features other than the 90Hz refresh rate and the Samsung 865. It does lack a bit in the camera department, and comparing it to the OnePlus or even the Asus, it is really not the best here and could have been better. So I'm discounting the Mi10 basically based on the camera performance. Now the LG G8X is a weird thing in this lineup because I really love LG and would love to see a lot of their models here, but LG is a bit late in bringing newer models to India, and when it does, it really hasn't reduced the price after launch, and the LG G8X at 55,000 is really not worth it. And combining with this, it has just 6 gigs of RAM comparing to 8 on every other device, and it has a UFS 2.1 storage compared to all the UFS 3.0, 3.1 in the ROG phone's case, and the NVMe drives. And having a 60Hz display doesn't help either because all the other devices are 90 and above except the iPhones, obviously. Even though it has a dual screen and it's great productivity wise, it has a lot of negatives in its name, and I really don't want to remove this, but I have to for the sake of recommendation and not being biased. So now at this price point, I really have to nitpick on what can and cannot stay. The Asus is looking like a clear winner here because it has the 144Hz display, the 865 plus full HD display, but it's a hefty boy. It's 240 grams, so it's really bulky, and for people with small to medium hands, this is not the device. But that's the case for nearly all the devices. All of them are more than 6 inches tall in display sizes, so it really comes down to what the budgets you are looking for. So if your budget is under 50, the ROG phone or the OnePlus 8 are your best choices. If your budget is under 60, you have the ROG phone, the OnePlus 8 Pro and the iPhone XR. Because the OnePlus 8 Pro is in this price bracket, the OnePlus 8 really looks lackluster. So if I'm going to take these three devices as the final lineup for the under 60, looking at the specs, the iPhone XR loses in the display department, being at 828 by 1792 pixels in size compared to the Full HD Plus 1080 by 2340 for the ROG Phone 3, and the QHD 1440 by 3168 pixel display of the OnePlus 8 Pro. And the ROG phone and the OnePlus 8 Pro have high refresh rate monitors at 144 Hz and 120 Hz. So the only thing that is holding up the XR is the wonderful camera quality, and it's longer than normal lifespan. So I'm going to give 10R as the winner over here, and the OnePlus 8 Pro gets the second place because it edges out the ROG phone in terms of camera quality. The ROG is no slouch, but the OnePlus 8 Pro has better optimizations in the camera pipeline, and so it gets the second place, and the ROG Phone 3 is a great third position over here. Now coming on to the elephant price bracket, that is the above 60 price range. The Moto Edge Plus is out of place in this price bracket because the Moto Edge Plus is really overpriced for what it is giving in features. It has the 108 camera, but even the S20 has the 108 megapixel camera as the main sensor, and it's a thick phone, but it's good to find Moto over here fighting the flagship battles, but its price bracket and it's misplaced in this price bracket. If the Moto S Plus was somewhere around the 60,000 rupees mark, it would have been a better bet and would have gotten a lot more customers, because it is there in that price bracket and it can't demand that high price tag for its first major flagship, but I digress. So the Moto Edge Plus is a no recommend over here. Coming to the Samsungs, now this is a tricky thing because if you are a Samsung fanboy, don't attack me please, but think of it this way: if you are a Samsung fan in the Indian subcontinent, you are not going to get the Snapdragon experience. Now if you are looking at the specs, the 990 has its own pitfalls compared to the Snapdragon 865, and they are trying to improve the Exynos lineup by improving the processors, but it's not there. It has the performance deficit and the bigger battery deficit, so it's hard to recommend the Samsung devices, even though they are good quality devices and they last you a long time with the 3 years upgrading schedule that Samsung has committed to, bringing it a lot closer to the iPhone 6 years, but yeah, still far away. But I digress, that's another rant topic for another video. So the Samsung devices that I do not recommend clearly is the Note 20, because every other Samsung device in this lineup has a 120 Hz refresh rate, and the Samsung Note 20 is stuck at 60 Hz, and at this price point of 77,999, having a plastic back is unacceptable. Even cheaper phones in the 40 to 50,000 rupees range don't have a plastic back. So get your act together, Samsung, please. The Ultra devices are a pipe dream for most people. So are the 1 lakh rupee iPhones, but yeah, the Samsung Exynos processors I cannot wholeheartedly recommend. I would rather you go for the OnePlus or the ROG Phone 3. If you are looking for the perfect build quality, OnePlus is getting there, so you can check that out. Now coming on to the iPhones, again here the 11 is a great device. I can give you that. It's a great device. At the price point, it's a great device, only undercut by the SE, and the iPhone 11 has a great screen, it has a great camera, it works great, it has the best processor inside, which is the 813 Bionic. And for those looking for an iPhone, even the 10R is a good buy. Even though it's a year old, you get 6 years of software support, so a year old means you still get 5 years approximately, so it's a great buy. But today, in this week, I would not recommend you buying an iPhone, because there is an Apple event coming up next week, and they are probably going to launch iPhones, and if they do, they'll be available in October. And if you want to buy an iPhone, then the prices for these previous models will drop even more and even come into the price budgets you were looking for. So even the XR might drop under 50 if it's still going to be on sale, and the 11 might come under 50. So it's an open-ended thing that we have to wait to see. So what was the topic of this video. Oh yeah, under 60 and above 60. So under 60, the iPhone XR is a maybe, and with double quotes and saying wait till October. But the ROG Phone 3 and the OnePlus 8 Pro are clearly a class above the rest in the Android department. And if Samsung brings the Snapdragon series to India, they'll have a lot more customers here because of that. So in the end, in concluding the video, if your budget is under 50, the ROG Phone 3 is the best bet. If your budget is under 60, get the OnePlus 8 Pro, or if you can handle the 240 gram weight of the heavy ROG phone, go for the ROG phone. If you're looking for an iPhone, wait a month, and if there's nothing coming out, go for the XR. Yeah, that was a weird way to end this video without a clear lineup, but I used what info I had and I'm trying to lead you down the straight path. So stay home, stay safe, wear a mask, peace.